Have you ever wondered if it's possible to move objects with your mind? To bend a spoon just by looking at it? Or fix a broken watch without even touching it? For decades, one man has claimed to do just that, baffling scientists and captivating audiences worldwide. His name is Uri Geller, and his story is one of the most polarizing in the history of paranormal phenomena. Is he a genuine psychic, or the world's greatest illusionist? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of Uri Geller. Born in Tel Aviv in 1946, Geller's life took a turn at the age of 5. He claims that while eating soup, his spoon suddenly bent in his hand and broke, without any physical force. This was just the beginning. He soon discovered he could stop watches, make objects move, and even read minds. As a young man, he began performing in small clubs in Israel, showcasing his extraordinary abilities. But it wasn't long before his fame exploded, and the whole world wanted a piece of the man who could bend reality. In the early 1970s, Geller's name became a household word. His television appearances were legendary. Imagine this: millions of people are watching at home. Geller is on screen, staring intently at a pile of spoons and keys. He encourages viewers to grab their own cutlery and focus along with him. Suddenly, not just the items in the studio, but forks, spoons, and keys in homes across the country start to bend. Phone lines at the TV stations would light up with thousands of people calling in, all reporting the same bizarre phenomenon. Broken watches, some that hadn't ticked for years, allegedly sprang back to life. It was a mass media event unlike any other, but with this incredible fame came intense scrutiny. The scientific community was, to put it mildly, skeptical. Magicians, like the famous James Randi, were openly hostile, claiming Geller was nothing more than a clever trickster using standard stage magic techniques. Randi even made it his life's mission to expose Geller, often replicating his feats to show how they could be done through sleight of hand. The debate raged. Was this psychokinesis, the power of mind over matter, or was it just a very, very good magic show? The pressure mounted, and the world's top scientists wanted to put Geller to the test. This led to one of the most famous and controversial studies in the history of parapsychology, conducted at the prestigious Stanford Research Institute, or SRI, in California. 4 weeks, physicists Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff subjected Geller to a series of rigorous experiments under controlled laboratory conditions. They wanted to see if his ability is held up under the watchful eye of science. The results they published were stunning. In one experiment, Geller was placed in a sealed, electrically shielded room. A researcher in another room would randomly draw a simple picture. Geller's task was to draw what the researcher was thinking of. Time and time again, Geller produced drawings that were remarkably similar to the target images: a bunch of grapes, a devil with a pitchfork, the solar system. The odds of this happening by chance were, according to Targ and Puthoff, astronomical. In another test, a highly sensitive laboratory scale was placed under a bell jar to shield it from air currents or vibrations. Geller was asked to affect it with his mind from a distance. The chart recorder connected to the scale registered a clear, undeniable force, as if a small weight had been placed on it. He also successfully caused a small part of a metal alloy to vanish inside a sealed container, an event documented by the SRI team. The scientists concluded that Geller demonstrated his paranormal perceptual ability in a convincing and unambiguous manner. Of course, these experiments were not without their critics. Many argued that the controls at SRI weren't as tight as they should have been. They suggested that Confederates could have been involved, or that Geller, a master showman, might have found ways to cheat that the scientists, who were not trained magicians, simply didn't notice. For example, some claimed the room Geller was in had a small, concealed hole that he could have peeked through. The debate only intensified. The SRI experiments didn't settle the question, they just added a huge, controversial chapter to the story. One of the most compelling aspects of the Uri Geller phenomenon is his effect on metal. He's most famous for spoon bending, but his claims go much further. He talks about restructuring the very molecules of the metal with his mind. Witnesses, including respected scientists and journalists, have described holding a key or a spoon, only to feel it grow soft in their hands like plasticine as Geller focused on it. They would watch, dumbfounded, as it twisted into a new shape. Skeptics point out that metal can be bent easily through misdirection and clever use of leverage, or by using pre-bent items. But how do you explain a key bending while it's in someone else's hand, or a spoon continuing to bend even after Geller has left the room? Beyond bending metal, Geller has also been involved in more practical, and frankly, more unbelievable endeavors. For years, He has worked as a psychic prospector for mining and oil companies. He claims he can fly over vast tracts of land in an airplane and, by dowsing with his mind, pinpoint the exact locations of rich mineral deposits or oil fields. And here's the crazy part. Some of these companies have credited him with multi-million-dollar discoveries. Is this just a lucky guess, insider information, or proof of a truly remarkable and profitable psychic gift? So, after all these years, what are we to make of Uri Geller? Is he a modern-day wizard with powers we can't comprehend? Or is he a masterful performer who has pulled off one of the longest and most successful cons in history? The truth is, there is no easy answer. For every experiment that seems to validate his powers, there's a skeptic offering a plausible, normal explanation. For every eyewitness account of a miracle, there's a magician showing you how the trick is done. Geller himself remains unbothered by the controversy. He maintains that his abilities are real, a gift he believes he has been given. He continues to perform, to consult for companies, and to captivate new generations with his story. Perhaps the most interesting thing about Uri Geller isn't whether his powers are real or not, but what his story says about us. It shows our deep desire to believe in the impossible, our fascination with the unknown, and the eternal clash between faith and skepticism, between magic and science. The story of Uri Geller is a rabbit hole that goes deeper than you could ever imagine. We've explored the public phenomenon and the scientific investigations, but there's another side to this tale, a darker, more secretive side. Remember those scientists at Sri Targ and Puthoff? Their research wasn't just for academic curiosity. Their funding came from a very specific and very powerful source, the CIA. That's right. The American Central Intelligence Agency was pouring money into studying Uri Geller's powers, and they weren't the only ones. Intelligence agencies around the world, including the Mossad, were intensely interested in what he could do, why they were exploring the potential of psychic abilities for espionage. Could a psychic spy read secret documents from a distance? Could they disable enemy electronics with their mind? The Cold War wasn't just fought with soldiers and missiles. It was also fought in the shadows, in the world of psychic warfare, and Uri Geller was right at the center of it. What exactly did the CIA discover? What missions was Geller allegedly involved in? The full story is a classified, mind-bending journey into the secret world of psychic spies and government paranoia. And that's the story we'll be exploring in our next video. You don't want to miss it. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And do forget to ring the notification bell so ULL will be the first to know when we release part 2. Uri Geller, Psychic Spy. See you next time.